Welcome CBC students and families. I'm Tim Gillard from the CBC Counseling Office, and today we're joined by Olivia Flagg-Bork from the University of Missouri Columbia Admissions Office, here to talk all things Mizzou. Learn about the admissions process, learn about what students might be a good fit at Mizzou, and how to learn more as well. So Olivia, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe you could start by just telling us about Mizzou generally. Obviously, a lot of our families know something about Mizzou at this point, but just generally about Mizzou and what types of students tend to be good fits at Mizzou.
Yeah, so located in Columbia, Missouri, we currently have a student enrollment of right around just over 32,000, including our graduate students. We are one of 10 schools in the United States with a vet school, med school, and law school all on our campus. So if you're interested in any of those, definitely a good place to be. We're also an R1 research institution, as well as a part of the American Association of Universities. Just means we're on that top edge of research. In addition to those things, though, we are also the founder of Homecoming. We are an SEC school, so still a lot of rah-rah school spirit. In terms of students that thrive at Mizzou, definitely looking for students that are looking to make the most out of their college experience. So students that are looking to really carve their own niche at school, looking to maybe start a club, definitely dive deep into things like research, and students that are real self-starters. So I think that those are the students that tend to really thrive at Mizzou, or students that come in with a really open mind just to any opportunity that might come to them while they're in college.
Yeah, and it turns out it's a pretty good fit for a lot of our students.
Yes.
We do have, year in, year out at CBC, we do have maybe 15 to as many as 20% of our students end up furthering their studies at Mizzou. So we know it's a great fit for a lot of our guys. You mentioned some of the grad schools that are affiliated with Mizzou. And so that gives us a hint, but what are some of the most popular majors at Mizzou?
Yeah, in terms of popular majors, business is our most popular. After that, definitely shifts a little bit year to year, but engineering, journalism, biology, health sciences, really anything related to that medical field. Psychology is definitely a big one as well. And then we've also got some other programs like English, history. We have a constitutional democracy lab. Those are all very popular as well.
And you know, one of the things about a big state school like Mizzou is that you can really study anything at Mizzou, can't you? And they might have strongest programs and ones that are a little bit more likely to attract students just based on their own. But really, if you're wanting the Mizzou experience, they have a major that you could be interested in for sure there. So our audience is obviously high school students. What should maybe juniors and seniors understand about the admissions process and how decisions are made, who is admitted to Mizzou, and then maybe what younger students can do to prepare for that process?
Yep, at a really base level, we are looking for, so the first thing that Mizzou is going to look at is going to be your core GPA. It's going to be your unweighted GPA from your English, math, history, science, and foreign language, and your highest fine art grade. We're going to look at that unweighted, and that's going to be your core GPA that we're going to use for admission purposes. If you have any questions about that, you can always reach out to me, and I can kind of look over your unofficial transcript before you proceed. If you are applying with test scores, we want to see a minimum of a 2.0 core GPA, a 24 on the ACT or its SAT equivalent. And we do use a sliding scale. So if your test scores are a bit lower, but that GPA is higher, you can still be automatically admitted to Mizzou. With that, if your test scores are maybe not quite where you want them to be, if you're a little shaky on it, I do recommend that you reach out to me before you apply. We can always talk about whether applying with or without test scores is going to be the best route for you. If you're applying without test scores, we're just going to want to see a resume and essay in place of those. With that resume and essay, two big pieces of advice. One, please remember the context in which you're applying. As entertaining as it's been sometimes to read stories about high school breakups and friend group drama, it doesn't necessarily make the best college essay material. And two, please have a trusted adult look over your materials before you turn those in. For my younger students, things to keep in mind, Mizzou would like to see, ideally on your transcript, 4 years of math and English, 3 years of science and social studies, 2 years of a foreign language, and 1 year of fine arts courses for purposes of admission. Of course, keeping your grades up and doing things like practice ACT or SAT tests also helps. I do encourage juniors to take the ACT or SAT just so they can go into the admission season with a score on file. That way it's not September, October, and they're like rushing to take a test all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely. So the most common question in the admissions process that we get from seniors is, should I disclose my ACT score? And so it leads to kind of a little bit of strategic thinking, you know? The two things they're trying to protect, as you well know, are admissions decision, but also scholarship considerations. So is there any kind of formula that we counselors, our students and families can kind of help figure out to know if it's the right decision to disclose or not? Or are there specific numbers like, oh, in your case with your GPA, you should disclose at 23 or you should not?
It's going to shift a little bit student to student.
Okay.
Generally speaking, I say for scholarships, if you're at a 26 or higher, you're in a really safe zone.
Okay.
If you are below that 26, typically between that 20 to 26 range, I would reach out to me before kind of applying with that, just so I can see, take a look at maybe you can send me your unofficial transcript. I can take a look at that, take a look at your test score and give you advice in terms of that. And then if you are, again, shaky about it, I would always recommend going test optional first, because you can submit test scores later, but you cannot go the other way around. So if you apply with test scores, we can't then ignore those later, but if you apply without test scores, we'll take them later if they help you. Okay,
and you can consult all year round.
Yes.
That's one thing we really want you all to understand is admissions reps, like Olivia, are there to really kind of help you figure things out with the university. Olivia wants you to go to end up at Mizzou. You know, she doesn't want to do anything that threatens you going to Mizzou. So really, we want to really encourage you guys to reach out to the admissions rep with questions, and we counselors, of course, can help facilitate that and help you understand who your rep is and go from there. So we heard a little bit about how admissions decisions are made. You all look at the unweighted GPA, so unweighted GPA. And when CBC sends you a transcript, you actually take that transcript and kind of send it through some sort of analysis, unweighting and counting only certain classes, not counting all of the fine arts necessarily or all the PEs necessarily, that core, and then you make decisions based on that. What you're referring to there is also, it's important to know that there's grids on the Mizzou admissions website, right? That students and families can look at and say, okay, if my GPA is this, and again, when we refer to GPA, unweighted Mizzou GPA, GPA is this and my ACT is this, will I likely be admitted or not? You know, so check out the website's another fantastic resource. What are some of the important deadlines in the admissions process?
So at Mizzou, we do rolling admissions, so there's no hard deadline on applying. However, our first big important day, August 1st, is when our applications open for seniors, so that's when you can start applying.
August 1st.
Is August 1st. We do need your official transcript before we can make an admission decision. So of course with that, typically September 1st is when we see a lot of students apply, just in terms of being able to get their transcript from their high school. After that, December 1st is the most important deadline for us. That is the deadline for competitive and general scholarships at Mizzou. So let's say that you're applying as an engineering student and you want scholarships specifically from the College of Engineering. December 1st is going to be the deadline to apply for those awards. Our automatic awards are also on a rolling basis, so you can continue. If you apply to Mizzou February 1st, you can still get an automatic award, but that deadline for those departmental scholarships specifically would have passed. February 1st is our next really important deadline. That is our priority deadline to receive your FAFSA buy. So that's that federal application for financial aid. And then that's also the Honors College deadline. So if you're looking to apply to the Honors College, February 1st is also going to be the deadline for that application. After that, May 1st, National Decision Day. If you're looking to go to Mizzou, it's definitely the date we recommend that you apply by in terms of getting like housing. So if you're looking to go to Mizzou and live on campus, May 1st would be like the latest that we would recommend that you apply by.
With all things related to college admissions processes and deadlines, the earlier the better.
The earlier the better,
generally speaking,
yes.
especially once the word housing comes up at a school like Mizzou.
Yes.
You know, it's better to be working on that in November.
I typically recommend students apply by Halloween. I feel like it's a date that sticks out in their mind, but officially November 15th is usually the latest we can get your application in, so we can get you processed in our system so that you can meet that December 1st deadline.
The December 1st financial aid
deadline.
and scholarship deadline. Okay, and so and is that sort of, do students as they're applying to Mizzou, does it become clear how to chase scholarships at Mizzou? Yes. Isn't there one portal that they all end up going to that they, once you apply, it's like, okay, make an account on here? Yep. Can you talk a little bit more about scholarships and affording college?
Yes, so we use an application status page. That's the central hub for all students to find their information. It's where you can do things like pay your enrollment fee. It's where you'll send your housing and dining contract. It's where you'll eventually make your first advising appointment as well. So everything is through that page.
Okay.
When students apply to Mizzou, they immediately have access to that page. It's also where their admission decision will be posted. So we'll send it through the mail, but it will also be posted on there. They can also view their automatic award through that scholarship, through the automatic decision page. Definitely with financial aid, there's a couple different things to talk about. One would be those automatic awards. So those are awards students qualify for just for applying to Mizzou. We have both test optional and test score related ones. With those, we're gonna look at like just the full strength of your student application. Those awards range anywhere from $1,000 a year all the way up to $7,200 a year. With those awards, they're also guaranteed to you for 4 years while you're at Mizzou. They renew automatically as long as you maintain a 2.75 GPA once you're with us.
I see.
Then awards that are going to be stackable on top of those are going to be the competitive and general awards. So those are going to be things, again, like awards through, let's say that you get into the College of Business and they give you a $2,000 award. That's then going to stack on top of that original award. The last awards to talk about would be need-based awards. For those, Mizzou needs to receive your FAFSA, which again is that federal application for financial aid. It is free to fill out. You do need a parent or guardian to help you with that process. Once you have filled out the FAFSA, you'll get an SAI or Student Aid Index number. It's also really useful because Mizzou has a net price calculator. So once you've received your SAI, you can plug that number into our net price calculator and we'll give you an estimation of what your need-based aid is gonna look like. All of those things are gonna then stack on top of each other, move in different ways. And then we typically start sending out those full financial aid packages beginning in mid-March once the government has released FAFSAs to us.
Okay. Yeah, it's a process.
It is, absolutely.
Starting early is the way to go. We recommend to all families complete the FAFSA.
Absolutely.
In all cases, and it makes, sometimes it makes you eligible for scholarships at certain universities too, in addition to the financial aid.
It's especially important for things like subsidized student loans. So I have a lot of students who may think that they will not qualify for things like you might not be Pell eligible, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't qualify for a subsidized student loan. What's important about subsidized is that means that you're not paying that interest while you're in school versus the unsubsidized student loans where that interest does accrue while you're in school.
Okay, and more to consult about with the admissions rep or as needed the financial aid officer. And it's important to remember, and Mizzou is not unique in this, once you apply to a school, most schools will give you access to their portal where you can, again, like Olivia said, you'll learn your admissions decision, you just keep everything moving forward with the university. You don't have to be planning on attending the university necessarily yet to have access to the portal.
So that would be the other, May 1st is our important deadline as well. That is the last day to, if you had paid the enrollment fee and you decide Mizzou is not my school, May 1st is our deadline for telling us that so you can get that enrollment fee back.
Oh, you do get?
Yes, the enrollment fee,
Excellent, the enrollment fee, right, okay. So students apply, they're admitted or not. What about students who are not admitted immediately, Can you talk a little bit about the trial admission program and also Tiger Pathways for students who aren't admitted right off the bat who still want to go to Mizzou?
Yeah, so those are two really great options for students who are denied from Mizzou. The trial admissions program, the way that that one works is it's for students who are in the state of Missouri. With that one, you attend a community college after you've graduated from high school. You take 2 courses. One needs to be an English composition course. So typically students will take something like English 101 or English 102 at somewhere like St. Charles Community College or St. Louis Community College. And then the other one just needs to be a transferable math course. If you get a C or higher in both of those courses, you are admitted to Mizzou on probation. What that means is that you need to make sure that you hit a certain GPA during that first semester. We're gonna have a little bit more check-ins to do with you, but you are admitted as a full-time student. Tiger Pathways, on the other hand, is a co-enrollment program. So the way that that one works, Tiger Pathways also is going to have some limited seating. We typically open that the first Monday after the new year. So this year it opened on January 5th. Last year, I think it opened on the 4th, however those dates work. And with that program, we typically accept around 200 students into it. And the way that it works is you usually take around 3 credit hours at Mizzou and 12 credit hours at Moberly Area Community College. With Tiger Pathways, students can then transfer to Mizzou after their first year in that program as a full-time student. They can also go to Moberly Area Community College for 2 years before they transfer to Mizzou. That program, I think, is especially beneficial to students who have A+, just because Moberly Area Community College takes that. And with that program, you're also still all the benefits of a traditional Mizzou student. So you have access to Welcome Week. You can live on campus if you choose to. You have access to all the dining halls and student advising services as well.
So, and one thing, I'm glad you mentioned A+. Historically, many have thought of the A+ as just something that helps you out for community college, but there's benefits to even a 4-year school like Mizzou to having been in the A+ program in high school.
So with us, it would be specifically for that Tiger Pathways program.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you for that. What about the Mizzou Honors Program?
The Honors College is definitely a really unique place for students to participate in. I was in the Honors College while I was at Mizzou and worked there for a few years as an academic advisor. Students that participate in that program, they're typically looking for students who are definitely at college, not just to kind of head down, go to class, make it out of class, skate by through college, get out, get their degree, but students who are really looking to get those deeper intellectual benefits from college. I frequently tell students about some of the really unique academic opportunities that college affords. So things like they've had barbecue classes in the past where they took field trips to Kansas City as a part of that course. There's some really unique research opportunities. One of them that students are particularly passionate about would be the introduction to research in STEM. And with that one, it also, part of that class is helping students figure out a research placement at the end of it. So it introduces them to research methods, and then also we help those students find research placements on campus as well. With the Honors College, there is a scholarship through the Honors College that is Mizzou's only full ride, all-encompassing scholarship. It's called the Stamp Scholars Program. It covers tuition, housing, everything for 4 years with some additional money for things like study abroad and research. They also offer some other awards that are specifically dedicated towards getting students involved in that research process, giving them funding for it as well. Really recommend the Honors College program. In addition to some of the academic benefits, they also get early registration for classes.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I'm sure you benefited from that a few times.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who used it to get all of her classes before noon because she worked in a lab in the afternoon. Some of us use it to get all of our classes afternoon because we were not great at waking up before 10 a.m. in college. But there's definitely some unique ways to do that. Also just in terms of getting in the classes that you would like to get into. Honors College students are also bumped up in that housing line. So when they're coming into Mizzou, Honors College students get priority housing as well. So
membership has its benefits.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, great to know. So how can students learn more about Mizzou? And if you could also just talk about resources that are available on the website.
So I recommend just going to like the admissions section of our website. When you go to missouri.edu, you'll be able to see the full Mizzou website. At the top, you'll see an admissions link. From there, you can really find like the central hub for everything. So that's where you'll be able to see our freshman admission standards, what we're going to want to see if you end up going down the route of Tiger Pathways, needing to do an appeal, any of those things, it's all listed there, as well as some of that financial aid information. In terms of learning more about Mizzou, as well as just any college, I really encourage doing campus visits. Mizzou offers two kinds of campus visits. One would be like a traditional, just like daily campus visit. If you go to visit.missouri.edu, you'll be able to find our link to that. Click on high school visit registration. Then it's a really customizable process. So depending on what students are interested in, they can request to meet with different departments across campus. Their day will typically start with just a Mizzou overview as well as a campus tour. And then from there, it's kind of a choose your own adventure. So if you wanted to meet with the Honors College, Education, the College of Agriculture, somebody from our pre-med office, all of those are options.
You can customize it.
Yes. And we also offer, there's a box at the end of it where if you put in special requests, we'll do our best to like make those happen. You also get a free lunch while you're on campus, and it's good to try out the food before you go to college.
Absolutely.
Our other visits are going to be Meet Mizzou Days. Those are a little bit more open house style. I recommend those especially for like maybe sophomores and juniors. With that, you just come in the morning, we give you that Mizzou overview, a tour of campus, lunch, and then after that, we do an academic fair and then have breakouts to some of our other academic units. So if you're not quite sure where you would like to start, if you're just looking to gather just general information about Mizzou, I really recommend those.
Great. Yeah. In the fall, we did a college visit field trip from CBC to Mizzou, and I had been to Mizzou many times, but I hadn't been on an official tour and it's just such a different perspective. We always recommend for any family to stop in at any college and walk around if you're going by, but it's a whole different thing to do an official campus visit at a school. You learn so much more in a dense amount of time. And we strongly recommend that. Just a reminder, we encourage every junior at CBC to do at least one college visit throughout the course of the year, whether it's on a college visit field trip or on your own with your family, or even a virtual tour, which would not be as helpful as an in-person tour, but there's lots of great virtual tours, and we understand everybody can't get to a college campus every year. Okay, we know how to learn more. We've learned a lot about Mizzou. Talked about different admissions programs, so I think we're kind of covered here. What do you think, what would you like students and families watching this video to remember about Mizzou as it's kind of bounces into their mind? Yeah, I always like to say Mizzou is what you make of it. So with over 30,000 students, I think that there's occasionally some misconceptions about what Mizzou is and what we do, but there's no one thing that every student does aside from attending Mizzou. I went to Mizzou because I was really interested in the Honors College and wanted to do undergraduate research. I have friends that went to Mizzou because they wanted to school with a football team. And we both found reasons to love it and both came out successfully on the other end. I really encourage students to talk to either me when I visit your school. I know it can be a little awkward to come up to the table in the mornings, or we can always schedule a coffee shop visit. I do one-on-one meetings with parents and students if you all would like to do that as well. That's awesome. And I just really want you to know that I'm here to help you. I am here to help you as well as your students navigate the college process, the application process, all of it. So if you have any questions, I'm always here to help you out with those. Well, thanks so much, Olivia, for being here today. We really, really appreciate it. Learned a lot about Mizzou, and we understand that you're just a helpful person at the university that can kind of break any part of the big university down to a digestible size for any of our students and families. So we really appreciate that and appreciate you being here today. Thanks a lot. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. Keep an eye out for future videos with other universities as well, and we really appreciate your viewing this video today.